Hi, this is Mrs. Clark, and I'm so excited to show you how to code this adorable little Santa pixel art. So you can get this Santa by clicking the link below, or you can watch this video if you're trying to code something else. I also have a link to get the whole winter pack. So if you want to get all the different designs and all the videos that go with those, you can. When I say a coded pixel art, I'm just going to show you an example of what I mean. So it's one of these where you write your own questions and then people answer them. And as they answer it, the pixels pop up and it creates a picture. And in this case, we'll be creating a Santa. So the first thing you want to do is make sure it is set to 75% so you can see everything nicely. Then you're going to go in and write your questions. And you do that just by clicking on the box and writing. And then you can click on the next one. And you can do questions like this or math questions, but they do have to be something that has only one answer to it because you're using the answer for the coding. So go ahead, pause the video and put in the answer or questions. Don't forget, there are two kind of sneaky down here. So this is a question. So let's just, and then this is the answer. Also go in and answer all of the questions too. Now, when you're coding the answer box because that's the thing that the person has to fill out in order to activate the code. So I'm going to code this box and then this box and then this box. I'm not using these at all. I'm coding the answer box. When I code the answer box, there are a few things that I need to tell the computer. One thing I need to tell it is what color. I'm going to be wanting to turn this box a color and bringing those colors to life in my Santa. The second thing that I need to tell it is what box am I using. So this box is B, that's the column it's in, and then let's look at the row 4. This box is called B4. So I need to tell the computer I want B4 to turn red. And then the third thing that I want to tell it is what activates the code. In this case, the answer is 20. So I'm going to tell the computer I want B4 to turn red if someone puts in 20. This one down here is called B8. And I know that these are combined. This is like a big box. It's bigger than these ones. But even though it's 8, 9, 10, 11, this one you just call it 8. This one is 12. This one is 16. Okay, so that's how you name the boxes. Every box has a name. So again, I'm going to tell the computer the name of the box, the color I want it to turn, and what has to be typed in to make it turn that color. Here is the code we'll be using. It's down here, and I would suggest writing it down. We do an equal sign, $ column, $ row. So that means, like when I was saying B4, it's going to be equals $B, $4 equals the answer, in this case, 20. So that's our code that we'll be using. I'll show you how, and we're just going to go one box at a time. I am going to start with the yellow. Something that I want to do is make sure I know how to find this yellow. So I'm just going to click on it real quick and come up to the paint bucket and look at it. Okay, so it's one of the custom colors and it's second from the right. Okay, and if you ended up using a different yellow, it wouldn't be the end of the world. But if I want it to look like this Santa, I'm going to try to use the same colors. Now I'm going to click on the box that I'm coding, which in this case, I'm going to start with the box called B4 with the 20 in it. I'm going to open up the conditional formatting window. So I've clicked on my box. I'm going to come up to Format, Conditional Formatting. And that's going to pop up this window that I'll use. First, I'm going to tell it what color I want it to turn by clicking on the paint bucket and selecting that yellow that I was just looking at. And now I'm going to write my code. So I'm going to come to where it says Format Rules, Format Cells, If, ... and click on this. Go to the very last one called Custom Formula Is. Right here, I'm going to put in my formula. So it's equals $, and now I'm going to tell it the name of the box, that box with the 20 in it over there. So it's B4. So $B, $4 equals what? What do I need in that box to activate the code? In my case, it's 20. You're going to put whatever the answer is. Right? If it's a number, you just put the number. If it's a word, you have to put quotation marks around it. I'll show you that in a sec. Okay, the next step is to go over to the range here and add in the yellows from the Santa too, so that it doesn't just change this color, it also changes the Santa's belt. So I'm going to click on this and move this over. Now, I don't want to get rid of the 20, so I have to hold down the control button, which is in the bottom left-hand corner of your keyboard. If you have a Mac, it's command. So with one finger, I need to push down control and hold it down this whole time. And I'm going to select by clicking on each of these yellows that I want to include in the range. Do you see how that box up there with the 20 in it is also selected? That's really important that that stays in there too. So I have 7 things selected, that box and then his belt. Now I take my hand off of the control button and I'm not clicking on anything. And I need to do 3 steps, always 3 steps at the end. Step 1, click OK on the range. Step 2, click Done. Step 3, really important, come up to the paint bucket and hit reset. If you don't do that, they're just going to stay yellow forever no matter what. Okay, now I'm done. They're still yellow, but that's because the answer is filled out. Let's go ahead and delete it and see what happens. Delete. His belt disappears. Put the 20 back in, and then you have to click somewhere else to get it to go. There it is. So the yellow is done. I'm not going to leave it filled in because then it gets confusing. You want your Santa to be disappearing as you go so you can see what you've done. Let's do the black next. So I've clicked on the next box and I'm going to come over here and hit add another rule. But if this window got closed down, you can just come up to format again and hit conditional formatting. But I selected the right box and I'm just going to click add another rule. I want it to turn black. And I'm actually going to go ahead and change the font too. I usually don't, but I can't see it anymore. So I'm changing that to white. There you go. Okay, so I want this box to turn black. Now I'm going to write in the code. So come over to Format Cells If ... Click on this one. Custom formula is. And then again, I'm just going to tell it the name of the box I'm talking about and what the answer needs to be to activate it. So it's equals $B, because that's the column, $8. So that's the name of that box. It's B8. Equals, and then put in the answer, which for mine, it's 9. Okay, now I have coded that box, but I want to get the other black pixels from the Santa. So that's why I come up here and I hit Apply to Range, and I click on Select Data Range. Move this over. Hit Control or Command so you don't lose that 9 box, and then just come in and select your other black pixels. And you can click and drag too if you're selecting ones that are all in a line like this. Okay, take your hand off Control and remember there are 3 things that you need to do now. 1, you're going to hit OK on the range. 2, hit Done on the code. 3, super important, hit the paint bucket and hit Reset. Now click off of it, come back and hit the delete button or backspace, and the black should disappear. Now let's go back and check both of ours. Remember, it won't pop up till you click off of it. So far, it's going great. So we're going to keep going. I'm going to code 2 more with you, and then I'll put it into super speed. So for this one, I'm going to do the lightest green. Do you see it on the edge of the bag? I'm going to click on it so I can figure out what that green even is. Okay, so it's the second one in on custom. Great. Okay, click add another rule and then find that green that we were just looking at up there. Good. Now I'll go ahead and write my code. So it is $ or equals $B $. This one's 12 and it needs to equal Denver. It doesn't matter if I capitalize it in the formula. I mean, I should because it's a proper noun, but it won't mess with the code. Okay, do you notice that Denver over there on the left, the green disappeared? That's showing me that the code isn't written correctly, because if it was correct, it would turn green because it is filled out. Well, I was saying earlier that if you use a word instead of a number, you just have to put quotes over it. So you have to put quotation mark at the beginning and a quotation mark at the end. That's just what you have to do for words. And you see how it just turned green. Awesome. Okay, so now I just have to add my range and select the other greens. So I'm going to click on this, move it. Hold down Control. or Command, and I'm going to click on all these other little greens. So cute. Here we go. Take my hand off Control, do my 3 steps. Okay, done, paint bucket, reset. Click somewhere else, click back on to delete it, and test it. I like to test it often, so if I make a mistake, I know where it happened. I'm going to do one more. I'm going to do this darker gray, and I have to figure out what gray that is so I don't mix it up with the other grays. Again, little mistakes aren't a big deal, but if I want it to look like this Santa, that's what I'm going to do. This is kind of annoying because it's not a custom color. It's down here, so I just have to check. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's the 5th gray. Okay. Click on Mercury before you add a rule, because otherwise you'll be adding a rule to that box. We want to add a rule to this box. So make sure you've selected the box you want before you start making your rule. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There it is. Okay, and now I'm going to put my code, and remember to put quotation marks because Mercury is a word. You can see it's still gray, so the code worked. And now I'll just select my dark grays. I like doing the colors that are easiest for me to identify first. A lot of times I like to do the colors that there's not a lot of first because it just helps me stay interested in the project. And also it reveals less of the Santa. People might not yet quite know what it is because I'm just doing like the greens and grays and stuff. Okay, so when you finish coding, it should look like this, and there should be nothing there, and then you can close this window. Don't ever hit delete. You don't want to delete anything, but you can close the conditional format window, and then you can go ahead and put your answers in and watch your Santa appear before your eyes. And there's our Santa. Before you give this to somebody to work on, like you're maybe sharing it with someone, you want to first of all, you want to delete all the answers so that it's blank, and then make a copy of that because that really keeps it blank. If you delete all the answers, obviously your Santa will disappear, but it'll still like flash the Santa at you 1 second when they open it, and it'll ruin the surprise. So you want to make sure that you do that. And so there's our Santa. I can't wait to see what you make. And remember that if you want to get the Santa, you can go ahead and grab him from the link below and just go ahead and start coding. But I also have this winter set where you can get a whole bunch of different ones and you can practice with all of them. So have a great day, and I hope you have fun.